Also, I know I said it was just the news 5 seconds ago. That's a lie. I'm gonna do a brief. I watched the first episode of Lanterns, and I'd like to tell you all what I thought of it.
It's time to get up, Junior.
So, you're a space cop.
No, I'm just being trained.
All right, new lesson. Take the ring. You fly.
Just fly.
I'm sorry. Fly, please. What's that?
You're the backup quarterback.
For now. What do you think is going on?
It's no accident we're here. These victims are gonna end up being alien.
Based on what?
I have a feeling.
He has a feeling.
I think this is more than just a feeling.
This is a threat no one's ever seen before.
What do you know about manhunters?
Where'd you hear that word?
Segment before we hop into the news. Jordan, I would like for you to guess right now, right here.
You think it's bad?
What you think I thought of the HBO show Lanterns?
That it was bad.
Sorry, it wasn't very good. And the reason why I felt so compelled to watch this is because there's so many reviews I saw, that were saying a bunch of things that sounded like bad things as though they were good things. Like, that just kept happening, where they're like, it's just like they promised. It's a true detective show, so it's boring. It's just what they said. It's a more grounded show with more grounded characters. So it's boring. So they really stripped away, what makes Green Lantern Green Lantern.
So it's bad.
And it's just like, there's this one smug guy on TikTok who keeps popping up, and it's like, man, no, that when it's gonna tie into one of the news items we have today. But it's like, since we found out that Lantern was good, like de facto, as if it was a statement of fact. Did I say it's the Spur of the Moment podcast? By the way, welcome to the Spur of the Moment podcast. I don't know if I did the intro. We're gonna do the news. We're gonna do Green Lantern. Welcome to the Spur of the Moment podcast. I'm Justin. That's Jordan. We're on break technically. There we go. I did the intro mid Green Lantern review. So Jordan thinks I think it's bad. Yeah, it's not very good. The number one thing is it suffers for it's okay. I was trying to think of how I could condense what I thought about this into like a sentence, and
it's bad. That's the sentence.
The best way I could put it is no, it's bad as 2 words. I guess that is a sentence, but it's another one of those terrible superhero shows, which is ashamed of the thing that it's ashamed
themed
of
around.
That it's themed around. So in this case, sorry, I just realized that
In this case, it's Green Lantern.
In this case, it's Green Lantern. Sorry, I just realized my volume was really high. I can hear myself echo. There we go. That's much better. Yes, in this case, it's Green Lantern. It's deeply ashamed of the fact that it's based on Green Lantern. It's a lot of tell, don't show. So instead of showing us this Green Lantern's origin in a flashback or perhaps a sequence, this show has no budget, so he tells us what happens instead. He tells us the story of what happens instead of showing it to us. It's one of those superhero shows. It reminded me a lot of Spider Noir, where it's a lot of, remember that cool thing that I did before? You're never gonna see it. It's like, and it's frustrating because I don't have any loyalty towards Hal Jordan as Green Lantern whatsoever. I could care less who Green Lantern is. In fact, I grew up with John Stewart as Green Lantern, so I'm really way more attuned to John Stewart as Green Lantern anyway. I prefer Hal Stewart as Parallax. Like, that's where my alignment on love for John Stewart is. I like John Stewart in this. I like their relationship. This is another example of this is a sequel to a show we never saw. They don't even bother to spend any time doing how Hal Jordan and John Stewart met. The show jumps in and they're already training and they're already partners, and it bypasses them meeting, him getting picked, all that. The show doesn't even have the budget to show the Guardians. There's just a lot of like really frustrating, like, whoever wrote this, I think it's the guy who wrote the Watchmen show, and Damon Lindelof, he wrote Lost as well. They're really fixated on the fact that the Green Lanterns are space cops. So a lot of what happens.
I mean, to be fair, that's a pretty big part of what they are. It is,
but it's not only what they are, and it's not only what Green Lantern the superhero is. Like, he's not a cop. He's a pilot. Like, and this show is automatically like, yeah, he's a cop. He's doing cop things. We're doing hacky fucking interrogation scenes. Like, yeah, some of the investigation parts are kind of interesting, but it's HBO, so the episode is an hour, and it fucking feels like it. Like, it is agonizingly slow. It is so slow. It's so much of characters standing around. And, like, they said this in interviews about the show, being like, oh, you really run into a problem of what do you do when you have a ring that can do literally anything. But there's moments in this episode where, like, it doesn't make, like, so there's a bit where the plot of this is they wind up in Nebraska. One of the things I like, it's not all bad. There are stuff I like. I like the fact that the mystery is centered on Abin Sur getting killed, kind of like the movie is. But unlike the movie, it's not Parallax, at least not yet. There's theories that it might be Parallax, but like Hal Jordan Parallax. But the plot of this is basically he became Green Lantern. Abin Sur died, and he was like, yeah, the Guardians think of this planet as basically like backwater. They would have never made a human a Green Lantern. So he's like, I always figured that him getting killed had to be foul play. And coincidentally, where the events of the show are taking place is the exact spot where the spaceship crashed. He got the lantern that works. And a big thing in this show as well is that he's been Green Lantern since 1996. So he became, or at the very least for like 10, 20 years or something like that. So the beginning of the show starts off in 1996, and then just hard cuts, and they're already working together. Everyone knows Hal Jordan is Green Lantern. Green Lantern is famous. He gets like stopped on the street, recognized. Everyone knows that John Stewart is working with Green Lantern, so they know that he's a Green Lantern in training. So there's no like secret identity. There's no like, it sort of, I like how it slots into the Superman DC universe in the sense that, like, that movie did make the case that there were superheroes before Superman. Sorry. Okay. I feel like I'm saying all the things, and I'm not letting you jump in here with any thoughts you may have.
I don't really have any thoughts for it. I've only seen the trailer. I didn't watch this, so I'm still going off of what I saw in the trailer, which is it doesn't look like a Green Lantern show. It looks like something that's ashamed to be a Green Lantern show and is purely using the Green Lantern name to sell itself, because otherwise it's just a terrible cop show.
It reminds me... No, it's not. In fact, it's a good cop show. It reminds me a lot of... Their chemistry...
That's not what it looks like.
Their chemistry is quite good. Their back and forth is good. It reminds me a lot of... holy shit, why can't I remember the name? Gotham. It reminds me a lot of Gotham, in that if you took away the Green Lanterns, DC, and any attachment to anything related to the James Gunn universe, and it was just a cop show with kind of a science fiction. Maybe he's still a space cop, but it's not Green Lantern, and he's got a thing for aliens, and it's kind of X-Files meets Men in Black kind of thing, set with like a True Detective style show like that. I could just probably would be a lot better, but because it's Green Lantern, like, yeah, there's a bit where there's a bunch of aliens who have showed up in Nebraska, and John Stewart goes chasing after them, and there's a very just exceptionally long sequence of him running after him, and I'm like, why isn't Hal Jordan using his Green Lantern ring? And the scene just keeps going on, and it's like, dude. And then their case against, in the writing, against using the Green Lantern ring to solve problems is that it's a weapon that shouldn't be used irresponsibly. But then literally in the next scene, Hal uses the Green Lantern to create counterfeit money to turn a jukebox on. So you're willing to use this weapon for this, but you're not willing to use it to create a rope to trip the guy as he runs away so your partner doesn't have to run 3 blocks after him. It doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. And then the show has the audacity to do that thing where it tries to lampshade it by having Jon Stewart in the next scene go, why don't you help me chase the guy? And he's like, and he just shrugs, and you're like, why didn't you have a magic space ring that could solve all your problems?
You can literally fly with it.
Right, and like there's a bit where like there's so many shots and sequences of them getting out of cars, and the opening scene of the show is he flies off. It looks terrible, it looks cheap as shit, but he flies off. So you're like, what the fuck? He can fly. Why is he driving everywhere? It makes no sense. This at least doesn't do the bit where the suit is a construct. It's an actual physical suit, but you don't see it. You see it kind of in one sequence at the beginning of the episode, and then that's it. It's made very clear that this is a Jon Stewart show, which, like, that's fine, but at least give him some shit to do. I mean, to be fair, this is the first episode. I'm going entirely off the first episode, but it's not very good. I'm actually not against this guy as Jon Stewart. Again, my Green Lantern is pretty firmly Jon Stewart. Because I grew up with that animated series. And interestingly, this episode ends with him with the goatee. So the episode like flashes back around a bunch. At one point, it's in 1996. The main bulk of it seems to take place in 2016. And then it flashes forward to 2026. And he's got the goatee. You know, like he does on Justice League, the cartoon. So I wouldn't be against him. Like, if they killed off Hal Jordan and he was the Green Lantern, I wouldn't have any issue with it. I'd be like, cool, I'm cool with this. I like him. He reminds me a lot of the one from the animated series. He's written in that same kind of stoic way. The setup for this is, I learned a lot about Jon Stewart over the course of this week. It is very similar to what it is in the comics, where they decide that he comes after Guy Gardner in the comics, but in the comics, Guy Gardner gets injured, and so the Guardians decide that he needs another backup, and he's just there in case Hal Jordan has to be off planet. That's what he's there for. So it's a similar thing in this, where they say it's like a replacement dealio, but later in this universe, Guy Gardner is going to become Green Lantern. So like, this whole show is once again hinged by the fact that as much as it being in that universe allows it to skip a lot of narrative hurdles, it also makes you go, wait, but then if him having a partner and him training a recruit is such a big deal as this show makes it out to be, how do we get Guy Gardner with his stupid fucking bowl cut, bulbous fucking costume looking ridiculous? Like, they're not jiving. And like, I had an epiphany when I was watching this, because I was like, what is with this, in my opinion, epidemic of superhero stories where we skip over all the good shit? You notice that? Like, this has become a recurring fucking like superhero problem in superhero media now, where
Well, it's because the producers and the people that are making these decisions want to appeal to people that aren't into comic books.
Well, they want to skip to the good shit. I think
They want to appeal to the mainstream audience who don't care for all the comic booky goodness that you're describing, so they cut it out.
Right, but you could. My thing is, we had an epidemic before where it was like, it was all origin stories. Everything was a fucking origin story, and the audience went, we're sick to death of origin stories. And instead of hearing, okay, cool, let's move on to the next phase of storytelling where we tell the middle part of the story, they went, oh, they don't want origin stories, cool, let's just skip to the end. And in a lot of cases, like, a lot of these universes want to skip right to like the big thing. So if this is indeed, because there's a lot of people who have theorized that.
You're telling me Hollywood learned a lesson and overcorrected in the wrong way? That's never happened before.
That's never happened before. But like, I've seen people say that this show is gonna lead to the, like yours did, it's gonna be an adaptation of your movie where it did Parallax at the end. And it's the exact thing I said with your movie, where I said, without the years of history and him finally snapping, that doesn't work. I saw someone else say something similar about Parallax, where it's like, it's the same thing with like the Dark Phoenix, where without the years of getting to know this character as an inherently decent guy, and I like his version of Hal Jordan. He's given him some sass. He's given him some, like, they've taken the idea of he's fearless to be like, that just means he's an asshole. And like, the animated movies do a similar thing, and it totally works for me. I don't love it when superheroes curse, but I can get past that. it's just like we're skipping to the end of this character's story, just taking for granted that everyone knows who Hal Jordan is. And it's like, I don't want to see the end of the story. I want to see the middle part of the story. That's why I like Brand New Day, because that was the middle part of the story. That is the middle part where the superhero just gets to be the superhero. Like, no, I don't want to see the one where he's a shattered old man and he can't do that, because you spent 5 to 10 years in development on a movie, so now by the time you actually get it into production, they're too old to do the stuff where they're spry. Like, I'm tired of that. Like, that's why I respect James Gunn. People this new trend to shit on James Gunn. But, like, the fact that he's put Man of Tomorrow into production so quickly, and he's getting David Corn... Man, I've said David Cornsweet so many times in the past few weeks. But the fact that he's getting him out there and in these movies, one after the other, while he's in his prime, is the smart thing to do. Like, yeah, like, I'm sick to death of, like, the end of the stories, which is why this bothers me so much, and it irritates me, because it's like, yeah, the one thing... You know what the one thing he does with his ring in the entire episode? He turns the ring into a bottle opener. And he opens a bottle of beer for the sheriff. And then it disappears. That's fucking it. That's it.
Yeah, because they don't have the budget. They don't have the budget.
So it's like, what's the point? But they do have the budget because they're on fucking HBO. So they absolutely have the budget. HBO's got Dragon budget. It's got Dragon money. They've got Construct money. And, like, this is another case of, like, I don't mind a Green Lantern story that's a bit harder if it has Green Lantern stuff in it. And I don't know, maybe this is going to pick up, but the sheer glazing that's happening of this one episode is baffling, bringing it full circle. This is not very good. This is certainly a bad pilot. Like, if your idea is to be like, yeah, I'm utterly ashamed of being a Green Lantern show, like, I don't... Why? Who finds that fun? Like, I don't understand this, like, idea of why do we need to deconstruct the heroes that don't require deconstruction? Like, sure, make a deconstruction of Batman, because that's about the human psyche. Or make a deconstruction of Superman, because that's about the immigrant experience. But Green Lantern is the flashy green construct guy. Like, do something interesting with that for once. You know the one show that did anything remotely interesting in terms of the Green Lantern?
What's that?
Invincible. Invincible is the only show that has done anything remotely interesting with Adam Eve. Have you seen the Adam Eve special?
Oh, Adam Eve. Yeah, right. I mean, that's different, but yeah, okay.
Well, no, but I mean in terms of, like, utilizing light construct attacks. Yeah, her powers are different, but the way she fights is essentially the same. Like, that's the most interesting Green Lantern shit anyone has ever done. Like, no one has ever done anything interesting with Green Lantern. Certainly nothing in live action. Like, yeah,
I mean, I was
going to
say, I don't know. I think the years of comic books with him are interesting. He has plenty of interesting stuff there. I more meant
like some of the animated stuff did. Yeah, some of the animated stuff did. Like in and I didn't mention this when I talked about that Atlantis movie, but there's a really sick sequence where he creates a fucking robot suit. And he's just walking around stomping guys in a robot suit. And I'm like, shit, that's fucking interesting. Like, why would I want to watch him, like, wear a fucking leather jacket and jeans and use the Green Lantern ring to create fake counterfeit money? Like, that's so boring.
Because that's
utterly
cheaper.
Boring. I know, because it's cheap, exactly. So, like,
cheaper, anyway.
I'm gonna come back to this at another time when it's all out. I'm gonna judge it as a whole. But, like, how much people have been loving this is baffling to me. It just is utterly baffling to me, because I'm like, this is bad. This is not. It's like it has element, like, it's like I said with the Supergirl movie. These are two good characterizations of decent characterizations trapped in a sequel series to a much better show we never saw. Like, yeah, if we had done a Kyle Chandler Green Lantern show where he was, like, in his prime, and now we're doing the one where he's old, and now he has a guy who's taken on the legacy of this character. Sure, maybe this would work, but they don't even do the bit where they meet. Like, they don't even do that part of the introduction of you can't have a partnership where they're already mid partnership. Good partnerships aren't founded that way in media, unless they're related. So I don't know. I was bothered. Everyone is wrong about this show. It's bad. Not bad. It's just it's a lot of mediocrity that needs to be sifted through to see what is ultimately good characters trapped in a not very good show. That would be better if it were on another network, because it's trying desperately to justify the fact that it's on HBO with all the cursing and the sex. Like, there's a point where Jon Stewart has sex with a woman in a scene that goes on for like way too long and is not very interesting. Yeah. If this is supposed to be like True Detective, man, this is giving me a bad impression of True Detective, because what a boring show. Hey there, everybody, it's Endcard Justin here. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about Lanterns? Yeah, I didn't think it was good, and I don't understand why anyone else thinks it's good either. It wasn't very good. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. But in the meantime, if you'd like to see the full podcast that this is from, our Just the News in between seasons special, you click the box on the left. Or if you just want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, click the box on the right. And subscribe if you haven't already. We put new videos out 7 days a week. Or you can just leave this video a like. That helps us out too. We'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day, everybody.